Hi, welcome back. Welcome to my channel Tech Krish. In my Python tutorial and in Python, as I was discussing user-defined functions, and today I'm going to discuss some typical things which one should know if he or she is doing user-defined functions in Python or using user-defined functions in Python. So what are those? So here your takeaway is order of keyword and positional arguments. Type of return value if UDF does not have the return statement, and somehow pass statement is encountered within the user defined function. So we'll discuss these three points here. So let's move to our presentation. So here this is a presentation, user defined functions. So these are the key points about UDF one should know, that if a user defined function does not have any return statement, then what should a user defined function return? So here the answer is it still returns a value, and that is the none. For example, suppose I have created a function def sample. Here I have printed one statement, that is print hello world, but there is no return statement. And still, if you see here, I assigned this sample UDF to variable x. So when I print the value of x, it will print none. So see here, so print x, I'm going to highlight it, and what should be the result? So when a user defined function does not have a return value or return statement, it still returns the value that is called the none. And the next one is, say for the example, hello world. When you run this code, it will display hello world just because of print statement hello world, and just because of print x. So x will hold none because there is no return statement in the function def sample. So the second example, if the user defined function has to return the values, it can return multiple values, as many as needed. So see here, I have created a function like where I have enclosed three positional arguments like principal, rate, and time, and I wanted to calculate simple interest and amount. So from this user defined function, I want to return multiple values like SI, that is simple interest, is equal to principal into rate into time upon 100, and this will give you the simple interest, and amount is equal to principal plus simple interest. So I want to return two values. So it means a function in Python can return multiple values in one go. So here if you look at the statement like return simple interest and amount, so here I am returning two values from the user defined function, and here also simple interest is comma amount, they are two identifiers, and I have assigned the function si amount with the values. So here also there are two identifiers. So this, when I call this function, the function will return two values, that is simple interest and amount. So si will be stored in this variable, that is si, and amount will be stored in amount variable. So here this way it shows that if you want to return multiple values from a user defined function, the user defined function is able to do it. Okay, so this is the depiction, or that this is the presentation, that si comma amount is equal to si amount 1005, rate of interest 5, and for 2 years So if this way I call a function SI amount, so it will take the values like 1005 and 2, means positional arguments will receive these values and will return simple interest and amount, and those values will be stored in SI and AMT respectively. And what is the next? So the next is a keyword arguments or default arguments should follow the positional arguments. So while using the formal parameters, means we are creating the user-defined function, then within the parenthesis, when we define where we define the arguments, the order of the arguments should be, first there should be the positional arguments if any, and followed by positional arguments if you want to uh, mention keyword arguments or default arguments, but the positional argument should come first, and after that the keyword arguments or the default arguments. So it is mandatory. So see here, this is the example I'm going to show you here. So you look at def perform operations. So num1, num2 operation code, result I set to 0. If operation code is 1, then I am going to calculate the sum and printing the sum. Sum of num1 and num2 is result. And if the code operation code is 2, then result will be evaluated as num minus num2, and later the output is printed like subtraction or subtracting num2 from num1 and then result. Else if you pass the values for operation code is beyond the range, then it will show invalid operation code. So here if you look at this statement, perform operation code 20, so 20 is meant for the positional argument. Operation code is equal to 2, so this is the keyword argument. And if you look at the arguments here, operation code is the third argument here, but here the operation code is the second argument, and this is again the keyword argument. Num2 is equal to 7, so these two arguments or the actual parameters are meant for the keyword arguments. Okay, so when I execute this, it will give me, so operation code here is on third position, whereas num2 here is on third position, but in formal parameters this is on second position. So num2 is equal to 7 will move to num2, and operation code whichever it is will move to operation code here, and these two arguments are the keyword arguments, and the num1 is the positional argument. So operation code and num2 are the keyword arguments and num1 is the positional argument. All the keyword or default arguments should follow the positional argument. This is the condition. Okay, and after execution it will subtract 7 from 20, so the output will be 13 here. So see here, subtraction is this, and means result is equal to num1 minus num2, so num1 is 20 and num2 is 7, and that is why the result will be 13. Hope you understood the order of the arguments, positional arguments, default arguments and the keyword arguments. But what happens when the situation is like this? Suppose I created a function, function1, def function1, and in the body of the function I just mentioned pass, means this is the keyword also. So in the main or in the main code, if I want to know the type of the function1, so what should be the type of this function1? Obviously the class should be the function. So see here, what should be the type of function1, which class the above belongs to? So the answer is class function is the class to which this function belongs to. Means if you want to print the type of the function 1, it will print class function. Similarly, if you have code like this, def function 1 parenthesis and again pass, and this time I am going to know the type of the function 1. So here print type function 1, what is the type of the function? So this should belong to, means none type. What should be the type function 1, which class the above belongs to? So here it will belong to class none type, because this function is returning none, because there is nothing to evaluate and there is nothing to return, and that is why we simply said pass. So it will return type, it will return the none type value. So if you want to print it, and if you print like print type function 1, so it will print class none type. So these are some facts which I wanted to share it with you. And if you understood the concept, and if you understood the gravity of these points, you should try and tell other one also. Okay, so if you understood the concept, kindly share it with your friends, and if you have not subscribed the channel, kindly subscribe it and press the bell icon so that you get the notification of the new video as and when it is created. So we'll meet in the next video. Till then, bye bye.